Okay, first the hood's going to come up, just pops up from the front, and you can pinch it in here in the sides, and you can take the whole hood off just like that. Now, right here, here's where your 12-volt battery is. This is your plug that connects it. I've already cut the wires here. Make sure it's unplugged first before you cut the wires off. So this basically plugs into the battery here. This was broken, it was chipped, so I'm going to make up another scenario that we can use to charge this, but I might be using this, so I'm going to stick it off and use it later. Now, to take the battery out, there's going to be one screw here in the front. You're going to unscrew here, pulls off this little bracket that has a tongue on it. So that bracket comes off, and then your battery should pop right out there. Okay, so this is the battery. What I've also done is, this will be in another video, but this battery has a built-in plug in it. I wanted to use that, and I saw some other videos where they were able to just pop this top off and get at the plug in there. It is a lot harder than it looks. I don't suggest doing that. Make up some other scenario, but since I already did it, I will use it. But if you are going to do that, I don't suggest it, but wear all kinds of protective gear, because this is acid inside of here, and you're going to have to break off a lot of plastic. And you can see there I really tore into it. So I don't suggest it. Just find another scenario where you can use the charger, or just buy another charger and do it that way. But so here's the battery. We're going to stick that off to the side. Now, most of the wires are going to be under here. You can see here I've already attached some connections here, but I've cut these were the wires that connected to the battery plug here. So I've cut those off. I'm going to remove this whole section here. There's just screws that are all in these different locations here, as well as two in the front here, and this whole engine compartment here just pops right off. As well, you're going to find that these wires are tied together here by a couple clamps. Now you can just undo that, and now you can kind of separate these wires and see exactly where they go. Basically, you're also going to have some wire connections, your butt connectors. There's also three wire connector that you're going to need a couple of those. As far as the tools go, it's pretty basic. You're going to need just a couple regular screwdrivers. I think all of them are Phillips head. I've included some flathead screwdrivers. Just you might have some prying that you need to do a little bit to get everything dismantled. You're also going to need some wire strippers here, as well as a clamp here for connecting the wire connectors. A couple zip ties. I find it useful to have solder, and I use a wood burning tool. If you are replacing the plug that goes into the original battery, you will need to do just a little bit of soldering. You can get around that. I'll show you in the video. And just for testing purposes, there's a voltmeter here as well. So basically, as far as replacing the batteries, these are PS9 12s, which is a 12 volt, 9 amp hour battery. Now these are basically batteries that they use on computers and servers. And the nice part about these is they can be stored in any direction, so it doesn't matter how you can fit them inside the vehicle. That's going to be nice as well. Also, I did purchase a charger. Now this is a charger that can switch from 6 volts to 12 volts. So what I'll be doing is using the original charger to charge these two 12 volts, and separately I will be charging the 6 volt battery with this 6 volt charger. And this as well, I'm going to be using, if we cut this in the middle, I'm going to be using this as one of the battery connections for the charger. So that should be about it as far as the parts. Okay, so I'd like to start this out with a drawing, a diagram of what this is going to cover. You could also find this in the link on the website, which the full website for this whole setup is inchdeepocean/power wheel, and there you'll find a PDF called 12-volt battery replacement. So basically this is just the replacement for the 12-volt battery. So let's zoom in here. All right, so while this may look a little complicated, like a spaghetti here, I'll separate it all and show you what I've done here. First, these are the two batteries. These are the 12-volt, 9-amp-hour batteries. As you can see here, there is a red on this side over here, which is the positive, and the black on this side. Basically what we're going to do is when connecting these in parallel, we're going to take the reds here, and we're going to take this red, and we're going to tie it to this red, and then that will go off and connect to our charger as well as our car. And then we're going to take this black, tie it to this black, and it'll come out this other side, and that will go to the charger in the car as well. One thing to note here, when you're doing this and you're worried about charging it, what you don't want to have your charger leading in to this positive and this negative, because that's basically just going to charge this up and then overcharge this while not charging this one over here. So what you want to have is your positive that's coming off on this side, and you want to have your negative coming off on this side, which it leaves an equal distribution for the batteries here. So the batteries, they're basically going to sit in this holder where the old battery was. They can sit like this, and I'm going to separate them and strap them in.
Okay, so this is your basic setup once you've removed the original battery from the car and you have cut the original charging plug out from the car. So what you're going to get from the car is you're going to be left with two red wires remaining that used to go into the plug. You can tie those two red wires together and just make one red wire that's going to be coming out, and you're also going to be left with a black wire. So you take the one red that you've just tied together as well as the black, and you stick a 2-pin plug on the end of that. And here you're going to be making a new charger. So you're taking your new charger, you're tying your positive to the red, your negative to the black, and that also goes to a plug. So what happens is when you want to charge the battery, then this would plug straight into the batteries. And then you would unplug it, and then when you want to use the car, you would take this plug from the batteries, plug it into the car, and then when you want to charge the battery again, you unplug this, plug back into the charger here. So essentially you have three 2-pin plugs. They come in sets of 2, so you're going to actually need to just buy 2 and cut them here, and you'll have enough. As far as the batteries are concerned, you're going to have two 12-volt 9-amp batteries. You could have higher amps if you want. By tying these two together, you're actually going to have 18 amps, so it's going to be a 12-volt 18-amp battery essentially. The wiring here is pretty self-explanatory. You're going to take your two positives, you're going to tie them together. So this actually comes from here all the way over to this connection. So there's a 3-wire connection right here, and you're going to take that all the way around, tie it into your 2-pin plug on the positive side, and on the negative side of the batteries, same thing. You're going to take this negative, you're going to tie it over here to this negative, bring that around, tie it into the negative of the plug. One simple thing that could be easy to get confused is you want to make sure that when you're plugging these plugs into each other, that the positive side matches up with the positive side of the batteries to the car, and as well when you go to the charger, you want to make sure that the positive side matches up with the positive side to the batteries. Otherwise, it's not going to be a good thing if you mix those up. So that's the basic wiring diagram. It's pretty self-explanatory. There's also some other notes and parts lists on the site, which is inch deep ocean / power wheel, and that's going to be listed in the descriptions below.